Welcome to the NerdShredz Podcast. This is episode 3, where I'm joined with QuackNiix, the HOTS professional HGC world champion. He has some brilliant insights. It was a great chat, so enjoy, guys. Okay, guys, I'm joined here today with Dob. You might know him as QuackNiix, Quack, or the Duck. So how about you start off, QuackNiix, just by saying to the audience who you are and what you do.
Yeah, hello. As mentioned, my name is Dob, aka QuackNiix, and I'm famous for my times in Fnatic and my career within Heroes of the Storm. I guess BlizzCon finalist and world champion, and yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Well, most people that I have that listen to the podcast are MOBA players or watch me play MOBAs as well. So again, what I like to start with is, just almost like your origin story. Like, what games did you grow up playing, and like sort of how did you get to, the point where you are today?
Yeah, fair enough. I started playing RuneScape when I was really young. It was the first game I ever got into, like on the PC actually. So I played that a lot back when I was like 10 years old, and then I kind of grew up playing that game.
I never pictured as the MMO guy.
Yeah. And then as I got older, I pretty much played everything, right? Like a little bit here and there. And then by the end, like as League of Legends came out and had been out for a few years, like that was like super popular here in Sweden. And I guess everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I started playing that. And like after playing it for a few years, I got to a really high level, I guess. Like, I was top 100 in season 3 in solo queue. So yeah, and at that point, like esport was kind of growing, and it was growing on me because I realized that, like, holy shit, you can like, just as you're growing up, you want to be a football star, right? And at this point I was still like, I don't know, 15 maybe, or 14, something like this.
Just a kid.
Yeah, so for me, this became my new dream, to become a professional esport player, just because I saw that you could be that.
It's possible,
I had no idea actually, and I started getting into Twitch, just watching all these big streamers and so on. And I tried to go pro in League, which we didn't go as far as we wanted. We were a toxic little shit kid back then. But then I actually, like, a friend of mine moved over to Heroes of the Storm. And like out of like he was a bit worse than me in a league, let's just say that. And like all of a sudden, like, we still kept in touch, right? And he wanted me to try this game and yada yada. And like out of nowhere, he was like sponsored, and he was in a gaming house and everything. So I was like, I was happy. I was happy for him, right? But I got like, wait, what? How can he like go from league? He was like decent in league, and
because you knew it better, yeah.
Yeah, and now he's a professional player in this game, and it's a MOBA. Like, so that kind of like inspired me and like got me to get into it. And then obviously, like, it was such an early stage of HOTS, so I got to play with him, who had a name back then, and his name was Happy, by the way, for
Happy.
those of you who might remember if you're a beta player.
Okay.
So I got to play at pretty high level right away, and I started playing HOTS for some time. But
so how long did it take you from like going, I'm going to play in HGC or HOTS, to like go pro? Was it quite a long time, or?
The thing was, like, since I didn't have to grind my way up there, right, pretty much, because right as I started, I was like, after just playing a few times or a few weeks, I was good enough, and I was playing like a lot with Happy, and like we made teams and stuff like that. But back then, like, the competitive scene was like really small. Like there was not a lot of organizations that were invested yet. So I kind of, like, after like playing it for 2-3 months, and I was kind of like at the higher level already in HOTS by then. There was no competitive scene, no organizations, like some like hero, like some tournaments, right? But there was only like no
amateur tournaments.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's cool. So basically, you were just like top seeded, like maybe in ranked or something. Yeah.
Not necessarily, but like I was playing with all the top players,
like
super early into me starting HOTS. just because I knew Happy, and as I was playing, like I was obviously good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then like for me it was like, fuck this, what am I doing? Like, and then I started playing League again because I wanted to give it another go and try to grind Challenger.
Okay.
But that didn't last. I didn't do very well. I got hard stack master or something. That was like when season 4 came out.
Okay, that's still pretty hefty to get up to masters and anything past like the early days. It's serious grind, to get up.
Yeah.
A lot harder to climb, I think, than most MOBAs.
Yeah, probably. But and then I was actually at this point when I quit and I tried to go like make another effort in League to go pro. Like for I spent a few months grinding League again. That's when Happy got into an organization. Like some players I was playing with, and on teams with, like in these just amateur tournaments.
Yeah.
They all got picked up by organizations. So like all of a sudden, like things were happening in HOTS.
Yeah.
And I was like so salted that
so you
like
want to make the switch. Yeah.
yeah, but I was so salted that I moved away from it again because I felt like, there's no money in this game. Like there's barely, like you win pizza money, right?
Pizza money, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But then I kind of picked it up. Like then I went over, and it didn't take too long before I formed the Swedish team with Smexy style or SMX, which a lot of you might know. And we managed to qualify for the first big event, which was like European Championship. We qualified as the last team, but we got to go there. And we sucked, but we still managed to get our name up there,
Yeah.
And then at that point, like Fnatic were making roster changes, and got pretty good friends with Breeze at the time, and so on. And after that event, like they were making roster changes, so we pretty much got like invited to make tryouts, and then after that,
actually start
everything
competing.
is history.
Yeah, that's cool. So just going back a bit to talking about when you were growing up and gaming, this again, I like to ask a few gamers this, especially people who've been professional or pursued careers, try to be a professional gamer.
Mm-hmm.
How about your kids? Your parents when you were younger. Sorry, were they quite supportive when you were trying to say, look, I want to pursue a career as a professional gamer, or were they just like, no, this is not a job,
I mean, obviously, like I didn't. Yeah, like in the beginning, like during gymnasium, I don't know if it's the same in your country or.
In the gym, sorry.
No, we have gymnasium. So like after 9th grade, you have gymnasium for 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Like high school, like
so.
I think it is comparable to high school.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, I get you. Yeah.
Okay, so like when I was, because that was when I was like playing a shit ton of League, and obviously like my grades were not super good, so my parents were a bit concerned, to say at least, because I was like, I was slacking in school, I was getting behind, and I was playing like a shit ton of video games. But at some point they kind of like, like any parent would be, right? Like they were concerned that they were not happy with my decisions, and since I was not, like, if I was doing fine in school, they wouldn't have minded so much. But since I was slacking in school and falling behind, then it was kind of a big deal. So
until you start making lots of money, then they're super supportive.
Exactly.
Right?
but like kind of like but then they realized, right? Like as I started making money and I got picked up by a team, I started traveling around the world.
Yeah.
And you name it, right? Then they understood that like this is serious.
A real thing,
You can actually make money off of this, because obviously for the parents they don't know. Of course, what you know is not the biggest fear usually. So me like sitting there like 8 hours every day, and I'm not doing school like properly.
Yeah.
Of course they are worried. They should be worried, because otherwise they're not doing their job as a parent.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but like once they realized how serious this was and how good I actually was, and the fact that, oh holy shit, he's traveling the world, he's getting paid all these trips, he's winning prize money. Oh, all of a sudden he has a salary. Like at that point they got into it, because they had learned thing, and they understood that it's a real thing. And from that moment they were super supportive.
Well, it's like more like when I'm a good chunk older than you, but like even when I was younger, telling people that, or even parents are saying like, this guy makes a living off of playing games. He sits and plays games, and thousands of people watch him, and he makes a living doing this. And they're just like, that's crazy. I'm like, and now it's like it's no different to the kid in school who wants to go and play football. It's the same thing.
But pretty
parents
much.
just, I guess it's just like it hopefully will like come along as it progresses. But yeah, it's hard to like convince, because obviously when they grew up playing games was like they sit and play their Sega Mega Drive or their Commodore, in their room, and there was no prospects of anything if you sat and played games, So.
But I still have to say, like, the difference will always remain that, like, whether you want to go pro in anything, right? Like, the difference with trying to go pro in gaming, or if you want to become a world like football player or whatever, is that you're actually out doing
physical exercise,
physical exercise, like you're usually outside, right? So like you can't take that away from like real life sport, that like in the end it's always going to be more healthier, because if you end up sitting like all days long and getting nowhere and just playing for fun, then obviously it would have been better if you spent that time just playing football outside and like actually exercised,
because at least you'd be like physically fit.
So you can never like deny that part, but apart from that, like sure, like you whether you want to become like the best in the world at tennis or League of Legends, like it's just work.
Yeah, completely. So talking a little bit more about into like HOTS and HGC specifically. So like you said, you were playing for Fnatic and stuff, and I've been consistently playing MOBAs and a ton of different games, obviously not at a high level, but from the HGC standpoint, how did like Blizzard killing like HGC, their side, like their support, obviously the game still goes on. I mean, I'll still play it and a lot of others do still play it. How did that affect you when the tournaments and HGC was cut?
I mean, from the start, like you have to give like mad shout out to Blizzard, because the amount that they spent and like giving over, I don't know how many players, right? But like over 100 players, like the money to play this game full time, just out of Blizzard's pocket, because they invested so much, giving everybody a salary in HGC.
Yeah,
and
they
like
paid
the
like base salaries, didn't they? Like for a lot of people,
and like how much money they put into these tournaments, like you have to give them mad props to that. Like it was an investment for them that they set up like I think it was a two years plan, and then by the end of it, which was when they actually cut it, obviously things weren't looking great for the company as a whole. I think like I'm not gonna like I mean these numbers might be out of my ass, but if I recall correctly, I think like Blizzard's stock had gone down 50% or something, like throughout that year,
HOTS,
not necessarily throughout HOTS, but like just Blizzard as a company, like their stock was fucking falling like a rock. So obviously at that point
they need to make some decisions.
They need to make like these big decisions, and I think that obviously like they were only like HOTS was an investment for them. Like they were only putting in shit ton of money to try and make it like to break the esports and to get people to play their game and to show people how much money it was, so people would start playing HOTS, obviously. And I think at that point, when it was kind of going rough, like pretty rough for the company, they just had to cut whatever was not generating money and just put more money into what was making money. So it came down to like, we invest more in Overwatch, we invest more in Hearthstone, and we cut HOTS.
Yeah. And so even after that finished, was there any part of you that wanted to like switch to, say, another MOBA, a different game, or try and like compete in another game, or were you just like, that's it, I'm done with gaming? Or
not really. Like I don't want to go into it too much on this podcast, but throughout the end, I was actually planning on like taking a break from the competitive scene, because I had a massive burnout. I've talked a lot about it, so for people interested in that, they can look it up elsewhere. But at that point, like I had big plans moving on as they cut HGC. I mean, before they even cut HGC, because I was gonna try to pursue a full-time streaming career, and make like lots of content and try to provide these things that not really any pro players were doing. And I had such a like big name in the HOTS community as well, so it was like a perfect step down for me, where I would, like all of a sudden, everything I do is just on me. If I want to do it, I do it. If I don't want to do it, no stress, and then at the same time, I could go really far with that, because HOTS at that point was still a very alive game. but so when everybody, I mean, not everybody, but like at least 50% of the viewers and people playing HOTS obviously just disappeared as they cut HGC.
Yeah.
So that kind of got me really demotivated as well. Obviously, I could have maybe pursued a streaming career, and it would have been great by now. I have no idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of like it didn't affect me as much as everybody else, because obviously they were relying on HGC as their salary.
Yeah.
And I had already started setting up other plans, but it completely ruined my plans as well. So yeah, it got me really demotivated, and I just decided to take a break from all of it, like HOTS, social medias, everything, due to the, as mentioned, like the burnout situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see you like back streaming as well. And again, I think I'll speak to other people, like for other people, sorry, that are listening as well, because safe to say that you were definitely a character when it came to HGC stuff, doing stuff that was maybe a little unorthodox outside of like proper, and it just made you more entertaining to watch as a professional. And again, I think you see this through other games that people do similar. And it is good to see you back playing games. And it's the same with, I don't know, so say your other teammates in Fnatic, have they transitioned out to doing other stuff, or are they
I don't really talk a lot with them. Like, no? I'm only really in touch with Smexy, to be honest. Like, occasionally I talk a little bit with Breeze, but I can't say like I talk to them all regularly. Apart from Smexy, because we live in the same city as well, so we actually meet up still sometimes. But I know that the Breeze actually recently qualified for Worlds in Smite, so that's cool. Huge shout out to him.
Nice one.
And I think Wooby, I don't know, he moved on with Shwimpy and Poilk and some other players, and continued played HOTS for a while in Taiwan.
Oh, okay.
Because they still had a decent competitive scene. But I don't know, like afterwards, I think Wooby moved on to Smite, so he's trying to go pro in Smite. And last time I heard from him, he's actually doing really well. He's not there yet, but like he's starting to get up there on the ladder at least.
That's cool.
And Smexy is actually still involved in Fnatic as a CS:GO manager now.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And Shrimpy, I actually have no idea about.
No, it's cool. It's interesting to see, because again, like I feel like when it comes to people being this competitive at a game, it's almost like they have to put that competitive spirit somewhere else. You can't just not be competitive, you know. It's like something you either just have or don't, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, coming down to talking about competitiveness there, obviously we were saying earlier that you play paddle tennis now, and I believe you're trying to pursue a career as a professional in that. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be a long grind. It's not something that you can do over a few months.
Yeah. Could you maybe explain because obviously, like I was saying before, I had no idea what this was previously, and just explain to people what it actually is.
Yeah, to make it simple, I would say paddle tennis is, let's just say squash and normal tennis had a baby, and this is the result. It's a lot of fun. It's a little bit like HOTS of MOBAs. Like it's a very fast-paced game
like that,
with like action-packed, and like it pretty much gets everything in there. And you can, apart from tennis, where like, I would assume that everybody knows how tennis works at least.
Surely, yeah. I think we're safe to say we can assume everyone knows that. Yeah, that's cool.
So when you hit the ball over the net, you have to take it after one bounce, like considering it hits the court. However, in paddle tennis, you're surrounded by glass walls. So when the ball bounces, you can let it bounce in the back glass, and then you can like take it again. And so it's a very, very complex game and a shit ton of fun. So if you guys are sold now, go check it out.
Yeah, because it was cool. I mean, like even when I YouTubed it just to see what it was, there was videos going back to like 2012, and I was like, I assumed this was a new sport that had just popped up, but it was kind of cool that you could see how they run off court, and can keep playing, and it's the same kind of similar in the way that I know if you're really good at squash. Again, the one thing that used to frustrate me, and I would say before, if I played against somebody who would be older at squash, they could just sit mid-court, and if they were good, they could make you do all the running. Didn't matter how old they were, and it seems like in a similar paradigm to that, where like if the ball and the players are good, the games and rallies can go on for quite a long time.
Yeah, for sure. And what I like a lot about this game is that the better you get, like the higher level you reach, it's more about game sense only. Like it's like playing chess at the professional level.
Yeah, it's almost like
Uh,
everyone can place the shots, so it's just sort of like where do
yeah,
you put it, where they're standing. Yeah.
exactly. And it's like where you put it, like allows you to know, like they have like pretty much if you play it somewhere, they have if you're playing it good enough, they only have like 2 or 3 options.
Yeah.
So you can kind of read the game and you play it in this like in this, like you play this shot because you know the next shot is gonna be here, and then you like maybe adapt. But it's really cool because I like that aspect. That's like why I really loved HOTS, because personally, like game sense has always been my biggest strength,
Yeah.
and not necessarily like transferable
Yeah.
like that to paddle, but I still like the aspect of it. That the higher level you reach is just more about like brain.
Yeah. Well, one thing I would say as well, because obviously I've just recently started watching, occasionally watching you stream, and when, like, obviously knew who you were from HCC and pro scene of HOTS, but watching when you play, a lot of people will play at quite a high level, whatever game it is, but they sort of lack almost, maybe not the social skills, but just the teaching skills to say, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it, which, again, it's not like I'm a high level HOTS player. I will just play for fun, but it's interesting when you play heroes, especially ones I play, and you'll say, I should have done that, or this should have been here. Like you'll even like own up to what you've done wrong, and it's really like you get your words across so well that it's really understandable from like I think the simplest of levels. This is probably one of the like appealing aspects when you come to stream.
No, but for sure, like that's as I mentioned, that's like what I've always been all about in HOTS. And like HOTS is a game where it's like, the higher level you have, everything is textbook. Like it's just brain. Like if like so many games in Fnatic, we win purely off just outplaying our opponent because we're just moving correctly on the map and like just out rotating and out macroing them. We don't need to take a fight because we're ahead, and we just play the map,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And yeah, this has always been my biggest strength. So I try to comment on what I'm doing when I'm streaming to teach people how to actually play the game rather than just like 5-man ARAM mid.
Yeah, or you get people that are just really good. They'll be really silent, and then you'll just hear them rage for 3 seconds, just go damn, and then that's it.
Yeah.
That's good. So see, sorry, because a lot of the stuff I do in my channel is like fitness related as well as games. And so, do you have like a nutrition plan? Obviously, again, if you're trying to pursue a professional level of say paddle tennis, do you have like this is what I eat every day? I have a set nutrition, or are you very much like my metabolism is quite high, I can get away with eating what I want? Or
that is something like for the past like years in my gaming career, like I'm thin, right? Like and I eat pizza pretty much every day, or I used to.
Everyone's hating you right now, by the way, so yeah, it's cool.
So yeah, I guess I have pretty good whatever it's called in English.
Yeah, metabolism. Yeah.
This one. No, but like this is actually something I'm like just recently started looking into. Like with the diet and so on. I'm actually like trying out, like I'm not full vegan, but I'm trying out like some vegan options because I saw a documentary that's called The Game Changer.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it really got to me, like both from like what is it called, like environmental
standpoint too. Yeah, definitely.
And the fact that like most of the things we have been feeding are lies, and how it comes down to like if you actually like it, then it's just better like on so many levels. To eat plant-based diet, I guess.
I definitely think like now, especially, there's a lot you can do still with that. Like it's not like if you go vegan or veg, it costs more and you are restrictive. Like now you can do more with it.
It's not just the salad anymore.
No.
Like,
and it doesn't. It's more as well. Like people think you have to do all or nothing, whereas I'm very much like I don't think I could ever not be a carnivore. Like I just it's just, but I could definitely have like days and days of just having decent beats. But it's good.
So that's what I'm trying out a little bit right now, where I'm like, I'm just changing some meals here and there for vegans / vegetarian food.
From a performance standpoint, I mean, I'm sure you've got like a coach
Yeah.
or something training you too, man. It makes a big difference. Like it's, I mean, I'm the same as well. When I was younger, it used to be like pizzas, everything didn't matter, and then I just hit like 26, and then it was the complete opposite. I was like, psh, so
Good thing I'm changing now then.
yeah, you got a few years left, man. So you make up all the pizza, but nah, seriously, for performance standpoint, man, it would make a big difference. So
Yeah.
but
No, but I'm slacking on the diet part in general, but I'm starting to get into it just now. Like I've been kind of going like, I mean, trying to pursue this paddle career is something I decided to do like, I mean, around 7-8 months ago. So it's all about like hard work, training, quality training, and just making as much effort as I can, pretty much.
Is it bigger in Sweden than it is in most
Yeah,
places? Yeah,
it's insane. Like it's the biggest growing sport in Sweden.
Oh, really? Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it exploded a few years ago, and like in the beginning, it was like, I don't know, 2014, I think, or 2015. Like the first center came, or the first courts came to Sweden, and then like a few
Just
years
kicked off.
later, yeah, like there is just they built centers everywhere. So now I think like there's like just in Stockholm, there's like 20 places that have like between 3 to 12 courts.
Oh, wow. So when
Yeah.
you're doing like tournaments, I'm assuming it's everywhere across the world. Like there's loads of different countries compete, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly, but like in Spain, Argentina, Barcelona, like it's the biggest. I mean, Brazil, it has
Cool.
been around for forever, and there it's big. But now it's starting to grow like everywhere in the world, I would say, but at least like Europe a lot. So like Germany, UK, Sweden, Norway, Finland, like there's a lot of places that are actually grow, like the paddle is growing a lot there.
Yeah.
So like you can probably in a near future, like if you talk years, like a couple of years, like you'll be able to play paddle like pretty much everywhere.
It's easier, yeah.
And it's gonna get big. But right now, like the main like competitive scene, it's pretty much for like top 50, top 100 in the world. So
Really?
obviously we're not we're not close there yet. But
Is
I
it
mean, that's
is it always doubles or can you play singles?
always doubles.
It's always doubles. Okay, cool. Because I was ready to say like all the videos I saw is doubles, and whenever playing racket sports, I used to get so frustrated with whoever I was playing with. Like just so I was like, nah, I have to play solos, whatever it was. But like here in Scotland as well, there's a lot of like there's a lot of places you can play tennis and stuff outside, but weather permitted, like must be the same in Sweden obviously as well. Like it gets pretty horrible in the winter, so playing like squash and then badminton and things like that, you know, they become a lot more feasible, you know. But yeah, that's cool though. It's definitely something I'd love to do, but I feel like it's it would be a bit of a, you know, unless something comes up local, it'd be difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
but so
sorry.
right now, I'm just competing at a national level. I'm trying to grind my, like this year for me has been all about like just progressing and making a name for myself in Sweden, kinda, to show that I'm like up and coming, which I have made I have done. I have achieved
Nice.
that. So now we're working very hard to try to get into the national team next year. But yeah, we've just been grinding tournaments, practicing, and I think we're around like rank 16 Sweden or something like that.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So if these tournaments stream,
yeah.
can people go online and see you, or?
Some tournaments are actually streamed.
that's
It's
pretty
the
cool.
same. Like that is also like coming kinda.
Man, you need to start hosting that on your channel, man. You need to get some people watching this, dude.
Yeah, I mean a lot of people have asked, right? So like I might do a live.
Dude, you should.
Like have my dad do a live stream when I'm playing or something.
That'd be cool.
Fun.
Well, what's the thing? One the other day, I read that you know the streamer, I don't know if you've heard of him, Tim the Tapman. He streams Fortnite, and he was streaming late night American football, and basically like it was over, I think it was like 60,000-70,000 people watch him watch American football, and like as he said, he was just like, and I didn't really grasp it until he said that more people were sitting watching him watch it than there was people in the stadium actually watching the American football game, and I was just like, that is crazy. And if I try to explain that to my parents, they're like, people are watching him watch a sport, and you're like, yep, that's the world we live in now, you know. It's cool, but it is insane to see that, man. So there you go, paddle tennis is the next, man, you know. You stream it and
yeah, who knows.
So like I said, dude, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're super busy, so before I finish, if you're up for it, I normally do like a quick fire question round, so I'll ask a bunch of questions and you just answer the first thing comes to your head. You manage that?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So first question, best tournament you've been to?
I'm gonna have to say BlizzCon.
BlizzCon.
There's a two-way answer on this one because BlizzCon because it's the biggest event. Oh wait, just one answer.
No. You can answer.
Oh, okay. Because BlizzCon because it was the coolest and the biggest event we went to. But Mid-Season Brawl, DreamHack Summer 2017 because that's where we won and became world champions on home turf.
Always got to be a good memory. That's cool.
Yeah.
Favorite place you've traveled to?
The States.
States, definitely. Cool.
Yeah.
Worst video game you've ever played?
Hero. Nah. I have no idea actually.
No idea?
No idea.
No. Okay. Who's your favorite streamer? Apart from yourself.
My favorite streamer is probably Boaty. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, do you watch a lot of streamers or?
Yeah, I do. I have my periods where I watch like a shit ton of streams and then sometimes I don't watch a lot.
Cool. Favorite subject in school?
PE?
PE, yes, same. Favorite HOTS character?
That has to be Falstad.
Falstad, good man. And okay, who do you think over the whole period of HOTS, who's been the most consistently overpowered character?
Character?
Oh, this is where somebody gets really salty here.
I mean, I think Li Ming.
Li Ming? Okay.
Like, cause she's so like anybody can. Like, you don't have to be good at her, but you can just have those pop-up performances and like carry super hard.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so actually.
Like on any level, pretty much.
It's like people tend to like look at the overall stats, and I think she sat quite low for a while, but she in the right hands was still felt like a god, you know.
But I would say Falstad if you're talking competitive.
But then if you take you out the pro scene, then it's obviously not Falstad, right?
Yeah, probably not.
Okay, last one. If you were to go pro, would you rather play first-person shooter or RTS?
What is RTS?
Real-time strat. Yeah.
Real-time strat. Can you give a
like StarCraft or?
Oh hell no. Okay, FPS.
Man, I was sure you were like gonna be an RTS man. Okay.
I mean, probably right because as I said, like I'm all about game sense, but I've never really played those games, so that's why.
Yeah, it's like super chess, and like I've seen you stream. You're quite mechanically sound, so playing a game like that, you'd probably be quite good. But massive learning curve though to just pick it up now, probably. Okay, so finally, just to finish off, normally I like to give a little something back to people who are listening. So for anyone that's maybe thinking about pursuing something in, say, esports, streaming, or even like potentially professional sports, you give any advice to somebody that's maybe want to start to up or continue it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like there's a lot of people that want to go pro in any video game right now, as esport is such a big thing now. But I would highly recommend that like people work hard and actually focus everything on self-improving, because it's so easy to just sit there when you're grinding ranked, right? To just sit there and blame somebody else for losing you the game. Like every time, you can do that every time. So that's something I talk a lot about on my stream. But so you can do that, but that's not gonna get you anywhere because you're gonna have those players in every single game. And trust me, you're never gonna be playing like 100% like correct yourself. So what you need to do is like always question yourself and be very self-critical because that's the only way you improve. So rather than blaming somebody else, you should just make sure that you are improving. And the easiest way to do that is, in situations where you die or you lose a team fight or anything, right? You just say to yourself, could I have done that differently? How did I play that? Yeah. Could I so you always like ask yourself these like easy questions, right? To make sure that you're improving and you're thinking about how you can improve rather than just focusing on others. And then you'll just stay where you are.
I mean, it's definitely, I think as well from a team game, it's very easy if you die or if you lose to just turn and go, that's his fault. He shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's very easy not to like take it on the chest and say, right, I sucked. What could I have done different there? You know.
Exactly. But and that's the thing though, because like that's what people do like all the time. Mm-hmm. Like if you die to a gank, you're gonna like 99% of the people are gonna be like oh my god, team didn't call miss. So like, sure, they didn't call miss, right? That's their mistake. But what could you have done differently? Yeah, first of all, you could have had better map control. What is it called?
Map awareness.
Map awareness. Second of all, as you notice that people are missing from the map, then maybe you would have decided to not go for that kill, like minion kill, or just stay back, and something like that. So these are the things that you have to talk about, like ask yourself all the time if you want to improve as a player.
Yeah, I mean, even like solo games, like playing, again, I used to play quite a lot of StarCraft, and again, because it was a 1v1 game, you sort of think people will take it on the chest more, but people then start blaming the game, and they say, my race is really bad, or this is really bad, this is so strong just now, they need to patch this, Like, it's always anyone to point a finger to apart from yourself. That's the gamer way, I think, it's you need to break that mentality so hard.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, I think that's all the questions I've got. QuackNiix, so thanks very much for your time, dude.
Fair enough.
I really appreciate it. Thanks for listening, guys. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like and subscribe. It really helps me and the channel out a lot. And it also keeps you up to date with all the new guests too. Cheers. See you.